Welcome back to Wedlocked and Loaded.
Wedlocked and loaded.
You women.
Do not lump us all in one category.
So you girls, and lie and stretch the truth and try
girls,
to get us jammed up.
First of all, I'm a whole ass woman, right? Think about
no
that.
No disrespect.
Sounds like it to me. So why can't y'all? What is it with men that they just can't walk away?
Depends how good it is. You don't want to give that away.
Greetings, everyone. This is a special episode of Wedlocked and Loaded. I'm Daniel Laurent, and we had a loss in the family, and our grandmother passed, and so Leah is taking time to kind of just I think process, sort through, and also deal with some of the logistics of planning things. So I wanted to take a moment to have a show to kind of just speak, and in some regards it's considered kind of like my birthday show, right? I'm a Virgo. September 6th, my birthday, but I wanted to address a few things. I think what's really, really important in life is to be a contributor to society. I believe that. I believe that we all have a born date, we all have a death date, and it's what we do in that dash is what really matters, right? And so often people get caught up on the things that don't matter. And I literally, taking a famous quote from Gandhi, be the change that you want to see in the world. I believe in that. I live that. I breathe that every single day. And, with that, with being the change that I want to see in the world, comes with a lot of heartache, disappointment, frustration. It comes with those things. And I say that because I think the masses don't operate that way. And the masses operate from a space of me, opportunists. What's in it for me? What can I get? How can I, you know what I mean? I think that that's a large part of the operations of society. I without going so far in detail, because my instincts is to air it all out. But I'll take the high road. But I think the point of me even addressing things like this is, I had a situation recently where a family member just really, really disappointed me, disappointed me in a way in which things were handled, their response, and just historically with another situation, it was a very similar response. I'm not really looking for people to justify why people do the things that they do. I'm at the point where I'm tired of feeling a certain way. And one could say, well, you can adjust your feelings, this and the third. I know what my heart is. I know how I give it up to people. I know how, even if I don't have something, I will give it to someone else and figure out how to get it for them, right? Even if I don't have a dime in my pocket, if you have suffered some sort of tragedy for whatever reason, even if I don't have a dime in my pocket, I know that I will get money. And so in your moment of need, I need to help you right now. I operate that way. The famous saying of you can't help you can't expect you from other people. It's a very real thing. I know that, I believe it, but I oftentimes forget it. I think with my birthday and with a year older, which is a blessing, it's making me reflect on just life, progress, missteps, course correction, all the things like that, right? It's making me just reflect on just life. And I think I wanted to just kind of take a moment of just maybe a a time capsule moment of where I've been in my journey to this point. And there's some things that I might miss. I mean, some things I kind of bookmarked in my head to kind of reference. And I won't make it a long drawn out thing, because I want, you know, in true fashion of Wedlocked and Loaded, it's typically 45-minute show, and we've definitely gone longer depending on what it is, or we'll do part 2 or whatever. But I want this to be in succinct and in line with the rest of the shows. I want to speak about grace. I think grace is something that I am trying to find to have more of for people. However, it really depends on the relationship equity that I hold with you. It's hard for me to find grace just because we share a last name, just because we share blood, just because we work with each other, just because we went to the same school, just because we're from the same hood, just because we both do music, just because we both have a family, whatever. It's hard for me to find those things today just because, right? It has to go back to that relationship bank that I have in the account, right? And if I don't have that with you, it then dictates the next thing. Being intentional. That's so, you know, I'm the founder, creator of Black Dollar, right? Even with that, and I'll speak on that briefly, because I haven't really publicly spoke on it. But you know, I had this idea, and involved someone who I thought, from their words, I thought that they wanted to, you know, do things. So music, clothing, whatever. I thought they wanted to do these things from their words, right? I wasn't just assuming things and putting on somebody. And in hindsight, I think that they just wanted to record with their friend. You know what I'm saying? I think they just wanted to make music with their friend. I genuinely was not in a space of creating and making music. I was more thinking business and how can things be figured out. I've made a ton of music. I recorded a bunch of records. I recorded hundreds of records, right? Hundreds of records, hundreds of verses. I've written, never recorded it. I don't, you know, I've done that. They hadn't done that. And so I think that that was exciting and that was alluring to them at that point in their life. For me, in my point in my life, I wanted to do something and be intentional. This is after George Floyd. When George Floyd was murdered and I watched that video, that was that was one of the saddest times in my adult life. And I had never felt so worthless in my Black skin as I had in that moment. And I was really upset. I was angry. I cried. I sat on the steps. I stared into the skies. You know, my family see me. They didn't know what to do. There was vigilante things that I was thinking, some things that I actually did do, and luckily, just with the world and the ecosystem and angels looking over me and guiding me and protecting me, nothing actually happened where I had to then act. But I knew I had to get out of the darkness and find light. And so with finding light and finding a purpose, and then, you know, Nipsey Hussle being murdered broke my heart, right? I remember what I was doing when I heard he was shot. It was a lot of conflicting stories on whether he died or if he was, you know, everyone wants to be first. Everyone was reporting, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, right? And he's still like, I wanted to make a choice of being intentional with my art, being intentional when I speak, being intentional if I'm somewhere, being intentional if I am appearing on something or alongside someone. I made a choice in that moment, not in that moment after he was murdered, but I think after I was able to sort through my feelings, right? I made a choice. So Black Dollar was one of the first efforts, right? So I think that I was excited about possibilities of making an impact, because Black Dollar, more than music or more than clothing or anything, it was a message. It still is a messaging statement, right? It's the intentionality behind buying black, right? Circulating our dollars more in the community. That's the whole point of Black Dollar, right? It's not about DL. It's not about it's not about that, right? Even if you don't buy from me and you go down the street and you go to a black owned coffee shop or black owned sub shop or a barbershop or a nail shop, and you pass by the easy, convenient nail shop that everyone goes to, and you go a little further down the street and you go to the other nail shop that's owned by, shout out to Pink and Pretty, right, over in Dorchester. That's what Black Dollar is about, is being intentional. And so I won't go into so many details about like the whole process of all this stuff, but finding this record, shout out to Cyrus the Shield. Finding this record, it was a different kind of record than I typically am on, but I knew it was a hard beat. And the verse that I wrote, it spoke to what I was feeling, right? And my soul is intact, surface scratched, but I'm still pristine, conditioned for the adult supervision. My thoughts create the scene. I brought the clean when dirty pervaded. No kidding, B. I focus on my lines, boundaries, part of my symmetry. Clear with the message in black, excellent with the imagery. King's English, but rep the various African wizardry. This the epitome, mixing Malcolm and Garvey chemistry. What a touch of Ermia's victory lapping round enemies. Vision board hanging a castle from a colored ceilings be. Tariq trot a mind state, thoughts of black intentionally. Walking my sides to purpose and my wrong identities get in the way of my progress. I'm airing out your vicinities. There's so much to kind of break down all those lyrics, but that was, again, being very intentional about what I'm saying, how I'm coming out, what I'm standing on, what I stand for. So, the visual, and I've told people this privately, but the visual of Soul Intact, I wrote the ideas for the video. It was inspired by Entrepreneur, which is Jay-Z and Pharrell. I saw that video, I watched it, and I was like blown away. I was like, damn, yo. And I watched it again, and I watched it again, and I watched it again. And then I showed Leah. And when I showed her, it was one particular scene. And when the scene came on, my eyes watered. And it was a scene where it was a guy that was dancing on a plantation. It was saying basically how his family was slaves. And, once he got money, he actually bought the plantation. You know what I'm saying? That coupled with what Jay-Z was saying in the verse, looking at all those black creatives and black owners and brilliant minds, and just them betting on themselves. Shout out to Coach La. It just did something to me, and I wanted to make my version of that. So Soul Intact was basically my version of Entrepreneur, right? And so I got people who I know, who I believe in, and just because you're black, because there's also a lot of disappointment that has come from this Black Dollar thing that I don't really publicly speak about, but there's a lot of disappointment that comes with this Black Dollar thing. originally I wanted to have Black producers, Black artists, Black studio, Black engineer, Black director, a Black clothing warehouse. I wanted to have everything be Black because that's what blacked out. That's the whole point. It didn't quite, people were disappointing. And so reached out to one director in particular I had in mind, reached out to him, had a meeting with him. He was interested, let him hit a record. He was still interested. Just never heard from him again, right? And I guess my biggest issue is when I talk to people about whatever it is, and then we see each other again, it's as if said conversation never happened. That really bothers me, right? Because it's not only a waste of my time, but it's almost like insulting. It's like, did this really happen? Like, am I watching what happened? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and not to be so extreme, but I just thought of this, but it's like January 6th when we were looking at the news and we're seeing people scale the walls of the Capitol building, right? We're watching people try to bust in the windows and break in, and then some time later it turns into, it was kin to a field trip, right? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I saw what I saw. Like, are you telling me I didn't see what I saw? So did we not have a conversation about this very thing? And now all of a sudden so, the director didn't work out. I ended up reaching out to somebody else who super talented, and I knew that he could do it, and he did it. He's not Black, That was my first realization in this Black dollar process, that I'm not going to so focus on just having everything be Black, because nothing will move and nothing will happen. And even that is it's irony, and it's just really disappointing. You know what I'm saying? For people who want to, and this is for the business owners, I won't even get into that. I think, people now more than I ever have heard and felt in my whole life, people want to support Black businesses. But there's such a lack of consistency, professionalism, service, that it makes it hard to do what you genuinely, inherently want to do. Like, people are making it difficult to support them, right? So anyway, so the video, I wanted to explain that. And actually, I'm kind of going out of chronological order, but let's get into that video. Actually, let's get into Soul Intact. Let me play that video. So I'm gonna play that right now.
Oh, that's itchy.
Fresh out of boat, out of the caravan to the booth. Don't gotta glow, I been in the moat. Gotta secure the fort before I move. I done seen, done heard, done did it. He stitched all in my fitted. Middle finger going up my critics. You snuck through the back door and I'm in it. Yeah, having them sitting, I know about me. Instead of my moolah or got me. If you really wanna know about me, ask the ones that got love by me. Not gon' studying under my desk, lurking under my fresh, hating my best. Why I'm acing my tests? Baby, I'm blessed. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, nah. Stayed up on my own wave, yeah. Still got trauma playing. Body in the street like Udi and Kusei, yeah. Hope you get the picture, but I'm trying to build something here. Ain't no never nothing strong, I'm here, yeah. In the face of diversity, I be the one showing up, turning up every year. I'm on every year, yeah. You ain't never walk a mile in my shoe. You ain't never rock a crowd like I do. Beat my soul, don't it shine when I move. Beat my soul, don't it shine when I move. You done came up, took a few losses, staring in the mirror and your soul still shining. You done feel hate, you done feel love, and all of the above, and you know you're still grinding. I'm at it so facts, my skin is still black. Might roll another switch with a chicken fall back. My soul intact, my soul intact, my soul intact, my soul intact, got my soul intact.
My soul is intact, surface scratch.
scratch, but I'm still pristine. Condition for adult supervision, my thoughts create the scene. I brought the clean when dirty pervaded, no kidding B. I focus on my line boundaries, part in my symmetry. Clear with the message and in black, excellent with the imagery. King's English, but rep the barriers, African wizardry. This the epitome, mixing Malcolm and Garvey chemistry. With a touch of Ermi as victory, lapping round enemies. Vision board hanging the castle from egg-colored ceilings be. Tariq trot of mind state, thoughts are black intentionally. Walking my size 10 purpose and no wrong identities. Get in the way of our progress, airing out your vicinities. Bow.
You ain't never walk a mile in my shoe. You ain't never rock a crowd like I do. Beat my soul, don't it shine when I move. Beat my soul, don't it shine when I move. You done came up, took a few losses, staring in the mirror and your soul still shining. You done felt hate, you done felt love, and all of the above, and you know you're still grinding. The medical facts, my skin is still black. Might roll another switch with a chicken fall back. My soul intact, my soul intact, my soul intact, my soul intact, got my soul intact.
My vision is so clear, my energy so high, plus my attitude's no fear. I was reaching them levels, they said I would never go there. Now they call me your boss, damn right, I move like a pro here. Got me feeling like, oh yeah, you see how that man vicious, and look how we ambitious. The way that he handle business and grant wishes for the future of his children, this is how it look. Show me respect, you can call me sir like Howard Cook. Don't disrespect, I am a king and I am not a crook. Try to act fool, I turn up dude like I'm from the brook. When you get ignorant, we get intelligent. We strip away your false embellishments, we black and excellent. Tell them this, we be the lyrical specialists. Tell them this, we out to hit our goals and never miss. Tell them this, to all my leaders and my activists, moving forward through the struggle, putting up that black fist.
So that was Soul Intact. Hopefully y'all appreciate it. Again, it was my version of Entrepreneur. So go look up Entrepreneur, Jay-Z and Pharrell. Really, really dope video, really powerful. So, I know what I'm gonna do. So, okay. So, the relationship that I formed, they got me to invite, the additional folks into Black Dollar came from a commercial that I did, years and years and years ago. One of my first commercial ever. And it was a Department of Public Health commercial. And the original video was, the original concept of the video, it was a guy that smokes and his friends who basically was trying to tell him to stop smoking, but it was put in like a hip hop way. And so you rapping, right? And it was almost like a cipher on a corner, you know what I'm saying? Almost like a cipher on a corner meets intervention, you know what I'm saying? If you can picture that. And so I remember, I found out about this. I went to school. I told my man who beatboxed, he was unbelievable. Told him, asked him if he knew anybody. He knew somebody else. We all ended up meeting. I don't know where we met now. I feel like we met at Back Bay Station. No. We met at, I don't know. Maybe we met at Ashmont on a red line and rode the train to downtown Crossing and then switched to the Orange line. And then got the Orange line from downtown to Back Bay, which is where the casting agency was. But from that whole time, we was just basically having a cipher on the train and just rapping and vibing and getting to know each other and getting comfortable with each other, whatever. We get to the audition and we audition and they they're like, because when you go to for those who have gone to casting agencies, for the most part, when you go to casting calls, for the most part, people, they're very, very stone-faced. They're very, okay, all right, thank you. Can you try it this way? Okay, thank you. Just one more. If you can just try it this way, right? They don't really, it's very poker face. So I don't remember them showing enthusiasm for us, but I do remember them saying, you guys wait over here, wait in this room. And so they auditioned the rest of the people. The rest of the people went through. And then I think, if I can remember correctly, maybe I'm off, I think they had, out of the three of us, they had different different ones of us three go and audition with different groups, right, to see chemistry. And I feel like we were there for hours. And again, I might be off. I don't know. I don't fully remember now. But in my mind, just saying this to you all now, I feel like we were there for 3-4 hours. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like people were coming, people were going, we were still there. People were coming, people were going, we were still there. The original idea of the commercial of us being cast, once we were, you know, told that they wanted us, they wanted me to more so be the hype man, right? Because my voice, they liked the other voice better out of the three of us. But my pronunciation was clearer. And so from that landed me to get it. That's the only thing that got me to get it, is that I was able to pronunciate clearer and better. And, you know, that's history. So, actually, you know what's funny? Let's let me so this is Beatbox, directed by Demaine Davis. It's a Department of Public Health commercial. Let me share this with you all. So I'm gonna play this right now.
Here's a tune about my man Kevin, no dude since 11. Mom smokes, he been pumping since 7. Cancer took my older brother, never dreamed he leave a summer, cause my ace, I don't wanna lose another. So when he wants to smoke to relax, I say nah, let's hit the waist, ride to the river, keep him from the pack. I pet Kev down, when he come around, if I find squares, I take him, he gets heated, but I still break him. Now he's down from a pack to 3 a day, I'm looking out to help him quit, so we get on and do this.
You straight today?
Yeah, man.
Sure. Alright. What up, B? Chillin'. Yeah.
So that was Beatbox, and that was really, really dope. I mean, that was ran, I feel like, a year and a half, if not longer. But I mean, it was shown on local channels. It was shown on BET. I remember like going to school and people like, yo, I see your commercial. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember like that was a big deal. That was shown a lot. And it's on YouTube now. So you know, you can Google. I think if you Google Beatbox, it shows up. So anyway, so that's how the relationship formed. And then years later, there was the connection again, and then Black Dollar, and then all those things. And I won't spend so much time on that because I'm not angry about it now. I think now it's just more disappointing that it happened the way it happened, but I'm not angry about it, right? And I didn't want to spend the show like airing grievances, but I wanted to give just some context of some different points, you know. And again, I think being intentional, it causes disappointments and heartaches, you know what I'm saying? And I remember the other thing I'll say, because this was a real thing for me, and I think this is what actually ended up backfiring. Because I had been doing music so long, people would automatically just credited Black Dollar with me. So they'll be like, "Oh, DL, you know what I'm saying? I see DL got a new album coming out, Black Dollar, whatever." I'm like, no, it's a group. You know what I'm saying? And I would always be mindful to remove myself from it to credit, you know what I'm saying? And then during this time, the Joe Budden podcast, or that iteration of the Joe Budden podcast with Rory and Maul and Parks, they were going through some issues, and eventually, you know, Maul and Rory were fired. And I think I understand a little bit of both sides. I do think that it wasn't handled the best, and Joe has later on said that he didn't handle it the best. But I never wanted my partner to feel how Rory and Maul felt. And I remember Maul, his biggest thing, which I mean, he's been the most consistent in saying this. Joe said to him, you know, this podcast is none of your business. And Maul feels like he helped build this podcast. And so to be told it's none of your business and make you feel like a temp worker, you know what I'm saying? It's just not a great feeling. So I never wanted my partner to feel in any way like how Rory and Maul felt. So I went out of my way to lessen myself or lessen my involvement or over credit or if people said, yo, DL, I would immediately interrupt them, almost like, if you remember, hate to keep getting political, but that's just the climate. If you guys remember when President Obama was when he was running against Senator John McCain, and the woman was like, and I'm not voting for him, and he's a Muslim, and she's like, no, we're not going to do that. He's a fine American, he's a fine man. We just disagree. Like, he stopped her immediately, and corrected. I would stop people immediately, like, no, this is a group effort, blah 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 blah. So I think the way things ended up panning out, it backfired, and actually it had the reverse effect if I probably hadn't done that. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to speak to, being intentional. The other thing I wanted to do in this show is just, I guess, I came out, I started, I remember, and this is going back to being a change. I remember, I won't go back when I first started writing and rapping. But I remember just trying to figure it out and trying to see who I could connect with that was doing shows or that had access to a studio. And I remember I worked at Professional Staffing Group downtown after I came from New York. So I was in New York when September 11th happened, and Twin Towers and all that. And I ended up coming back. And I was working at Professional Staffing Group downtown. Ironically, now it's where Pure Oasis is, which is just really ironic for a million reasons. But I remember being there, and one of the agents, one of the I think he was finance. I think he was a finance advisor. So anyone that was trying to get into the business of finance and looking to be connected with companies, he would interview them, assess their skills, and then pair them with whomever. He actually was in a group called Porn Theater Ushers. So for those that know Boston hip hop history, Porn Theater Ushers, they were doing their thing. They were moving around. They were definitely doing shows and blah, blah, blah. So they, he was a direct connection. I worked with him every day. I remember trying to you know what I'm saying? And there wasn't really any motion happening. And we do different types of music anyway. But I didn't know anything. I was super green, didn't know anybody. And I just remember it wasn't even a little bone or a little pebble of yo, do this, yo, go to this open mic, yo, go. It was nothing. It was dry. It was super, super curved. You know what I'm saying? And then I think, I don't even remember. I don't remember the story of how I met Leeds. I remember there was a spot called the Chopping Block that was over by the hospitals, like Brigham and Women's. And I think he was doing a show there, and I went there and introduced myself. Maybe that's how we met. I don't know. And he was open to new acts and was giving people a shot, you know what I'm saying? And I took it serious. And I think my first show was at the Middle East in Cambridge. And, I was getting some motion from a record that I have, had Masterpiece, and which is basically, it's still called the Cheer Song. But it's Masterpiece, in parentheses, the anthem. And it's My Love. I actually wrote it while I was on the steps at 2 a.m. in New York. I lived in Harlem on 145th of St. Nicholas. And I was just thinking about home, you know what I'm saying? And I wrote this song as a metaphor, and it was just homage to my city, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Braun the Beyonder, met him. He played a character called Dent in the movie I was in called Lift, that starred Kerry Washington, Lynette McKee, Sticky Fingers, Eugene Bird, there's others too, but Naheem Garcia was in it. Shout out to Naheem, love you. But so this movie called Lift that was written by Demaine Davis, and Kari Streeter. I had a role. I auditioned for a role called Jamal. I think Jamal just had one line, but when I read it and how I read it and what I did, I don't really remember what I did. That character ended up getting merged. Two characters ended up getting merged into one, right? So I literally only had one line, or one scene in the movie, and it merged into something else. And then I was throughout the movie, which was super dope. And I didn't even really understand what I was doing in the moment, but I was just figuring it out. And that's the beauty about life. You know what I'm saying? You figure things out. And as long as you're open to it, you just open the door, let God in. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I met Braun on the set of Lift. We vibed, you know what I'm saying? He was, I don't know if he had DJ'd every now and then for them, but he definitely was like the hype man, and he was just crew, almost like Freaky Zeke with Dipset. But he was very locked in and tapped in with 7L Esoteric. So shout out to Esoteric, shout out to 7L. And so he was like, yo, I produce. And I'm like, oh, word? He was like, yeah, man, come through one day and blah, 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 blah. And so I was telling him this idea that I had. And he was like, yeah, I think I got something. And he made the record. So he took Cheers and chopped it. And you know what I'm saying? It was nuts. So shout out to him. And actually, let me share. I actually did it over and I made Masterpiece 2.0. But I'm gonna share the original Masterpiece with you all so you can hear it and hear Young DL, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing. So I'm gonna share that with y'all now.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You are now listening to DL, Daniel LeGrand, whatever's your preference. You know, this is the anthem right here. I'm glad to be in your presence. I'm gonna take up your time for maybe about 4 minutes, 57 seconds, you know, roughly. Back by my man, Braun to Beyonder. Let's go. I got 6 consequences, 1 chance, and 7 options to choose as I look out my window watching. Moore and Coke ran the land. Blue Hill X'd on the Ave and spotted his man who got homes in the academy. Joseph was a born saint, but he switched and it saddens me. Known foes but once friends, and no one dare makes a single move without permission of Warrington and Washington's commission. Peep it, Geneva got Lennox popped on sneak-ish, cause she was revolting, but she kept it a secret. Talbot couldn't defend the honor cause he was beatless. In the shadow lurk up him in fields from the corner with their hands in their coat, and he one passes a goner. This year's a lot of rocks buried at the cross and mass populated vicious living in bars. You wanna go where everybody knows your name will click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece. You wanna go where everybody knows your name will click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece. Green's coffin, Dudley Square, Jackson's ruling, Broadway, Ashmont, and South Station hoodlums. Glance at Symphony, she's crying hysterical cause a man Copley was rushed to New England Medical, but he's a known snitch across the state. JFK backed his bay cause rats he hates, with the exception of Ruggles and Mass. They were his first and second cousins, so they gave him a pass. I wink my eye at Charlotte, she's known for brains. Single-handedly made Central famous for having the biggest oaks in the grove. Told L's wife Charlotte's mouth is hot like a stove. I coughed up a Lou and spit. Flynn landed on a square Sullivan. Morning got bagged while smuggling Wonderland. From the kid downtown, 10-year crossing, mass populated, visions living in Boston. You wanna go where everybody knows your name will click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece. You wanna go where everybody knows your name will click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece. Across the street is River with jewelry she's sporting. Shabu necklace brought by that kid Morton. 3 C's plotting on robbing Guido's fortune. Big Daddy hit the lotto, but he's still using caution. Knocked up Jillian, but she had an abortion. What Roxy said, but it might be out of proportion. I blink and I hear a gun blast coming. Run fast, Chinatown got buck fast. Jakes arrive, but they get no lecture. While medics come and carry China off on a stretcher. Jamaica told police plane was the aggressor. Harbin pointed a plane and threw rude gestures. On the phone is Boylston, telling what happened. The hard reply was no how girls be yapping. Police leave, want to proceed. Green still coughing, mass populated, bitches living in. You wanna go where everybody knows you in the click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. The click you claim new game. This is the code of the streets I live by. Get live, glad to bring you the masterpiece.
All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. Yeah, shout out to Braun and Beyond. So anyway, I had this record. I sent it to everybody possible. This is back in the days. This is before like emails and MySpace and SoundCloud and all that stuff. So I actually had CDs, and I bought a burner, and so I burnt a bunch of CDs and hand wrote DL Masterpiece and my phone number, and I think maybe my email address. I think I had a Hotmail email address. And I went up and down. I mean, I treated it like shifts. I went up and down Mass Ave, passing Berkeley. I literally started from Symphony and walked up to like where Tower Records was there. Then it became the Virgin Megastore. Now I think it's TJ Maxx. But then I crossed the street and walked back down. And I did that all day for probably like 3 hours, like 3 days a week. You know what I'm saying? And I had this campaign that I started called Hot or Not. And I had a phone number, I had a voicemail that I bought where people can basically call and give me feedback on if they like my records. So one of the songs was Masterpiece. I think another song was something else. I don't remember. And then I think I just used an industry beat and recorded on a little record I got from Radio Shack. And with Leeds, I think Leeds, he said, yeah, man, I'll put you on, let you open for, I think it was Cage and Tame One that I opened for. And I went to Kinko's or Staples. I don't remember, but I went there and I had a logo that somebody had made me because I believed in like the ghost face approach, not showing your face. You know what I'm saying? So I never really showed my face. And I went to Kinko's and made a bunch of flyers where it said like, DL at the Middle East, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. You've heard the song called the Cheer Song, blah, blah, blah. I went up and down throughout, rode every bus, left it on a bus, purposely left it on seats. I probably made about 1,000 copies of this flyer, right? And they were like, I got 3 different colors. I think I got neon green, I got yellow, and I got neon green, yellow, blue, and red. And I would put them in like 7-Eleven on like the little pinup boards and all that stuff. And I did my show, my first performance ever as a solo artist, because I performed with groups before. And I had a CD, and I had, I basically sold the CDs, and I sold it. I had like a cardboard that I wrote on Dope Fiend Price. Shout out to the main, who I think she gave me the idea, or she said something that made me spark another idea. But it was Dope Fiend Price. I was selling the CD. It was like 3 songs. I sold them for $1, right? And I had 60 CDs or something with me. You know what I'm saying? With the little slim jewel cases. and I sold out. And I remember after I got off stage, I told people I'll be over there selling the CDs. When I walked over there was like a crowd of people that walked over to me to buy the CDs. And some people gave me more. Some people gave me like $5 or whatever and told me to keep the change. And literally after they bought that, they walked out. And I was like, holy shit. And I didn't know these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, holy shit. Okay. What do I do now? Okay. And it let me know that like I could possibly do this, right? I could possibly do this, and I have something that people want to hear. And that was the first iteration of that. And so I bring up that story not to necessarily reminisce and go down because I'm looking at the time, so I don't, I wanted to be mindful. I think that my journey and all the things that I've done, and I have been bad at not stopping to, I've been bad at not stopping to appreciate and celebrate moments, right? It's always the next thing. It's always, that's cool. What's next? You know what I'm saying? And not really taking a second to appreciate. And with this new year that I've been blessed with, I want to start taking time to appreciate more, right? And there's a lot of things. There's things that I'm not even remembering offhand unless I really sit down and think about it and try to like map out everything. But there's choices that we all make, right? I made a decision. It ended up getting me expelled from English high school. I was given a choice of getting a GED or going to an alternative program and following the same requirements of English high school in order to graduate. And I chose to go to this program. Now, I hadn't heard about this program. It was called Community Academy. And it was one of the best things one of the best decisions I've ever made, right? The mentors that I had from there, shout out to Malcolm Bryant, the friendships that I formed from there. And Malcolm Bryant, also Naheem, who later on I ended up doing a movie with, right? Just funny how life works. Brother Chris, Brother Omar, Mr. Shire, Miss Love, who, was the first example that I saw as a Black woman. And now we're in a space where, Black women's running for president. But it was the first example that I saw where a Black woman in leadership in that way. And she was a principal, Brenda Love. She was a principal at Community Academy. And seeing that and not even really understanding what that meant, but just seeing it, it was normalized to me. So it wasn't that like that was actually fly. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? To have her come in and she's the principal, she's the big dog, and people got to come and, you know what I mean? So anyway, that was a decision I made. So being expelled, going to Community Academy, I ended up putting my nose down, complying, figuring out whatever, doing above and beyond, graduated valedictorian of my senior class, right? Saving my money, applying to 3 different schools, and I got accepted to 2 of them. I applied to Fashion Institute of Technology. I applied to Pace University, and I applied to, was it Pratt? I don't remember if it was Pratt. But I got accepted to Fashion Institute of Technology, and I got accepted into Pace. I made a choice to go to Fashion Institute of Technology, moved to New York, saved my money, bought my furniture. You know what I'm saying? It was like a tax-free weekend. It was some big thing at the Bayside Expo Center. Bought a bunch of furniture, drove there. I believe my parents drove with me, drove there, and was in New York, had my own apartment. I was in the studio when the beat for Knock Yourself Out. I think Knock Yourself Out. I think it was Knock Yourself Out. I think it was being like, something was being added to it. It was like done, but it was something being added to it. It was like, oh, this is going to go to this artist, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Jadakiss wasn't Jadakiss, at least to me, wasn't, you know, but being around different things, going to Justin's, performing in front of Mrs. Combs and Miss Wallace, and just all these different things, and just moving around throughout the world. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Will, you know what I'm saying? William Butler, who was an actor also, close friend, and really was just supportive and a kind soul and a kind spirit. Shout out to Glennis, shout out to Janelle in New York. You know, going up to Bad Boy and meeting Puff, who was my idol at the time, you know, and for years and years and years. And like, I would go up there. He was never there. And then finally I went up there. He's in the back doing an interview with MTV, and I'm sitting down and my hands are sweaty, and my hands, you know, I got my hands on my pants, and he finally comes out, and I, you know, introduce myself to him, and somebody's like, yeah, man, he raps. And Puff's like, yeah, you rap, Playboy? And I couldn't even speak. I was just like, I literally couldn't speak. But, you know, that was the time of just being and figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? And so today I'm much more intentional about things that I'm doing. So just to run off some of the things, I want to bring this to a close, because I said in the beginning of the show, and, you know, I think that I'm being clear and kind of telling a story a little bit about me and giving up myself. But some people might be like, what the fuck is he talking about? So my apologies to you all. Again, this isn't necessarily a filler episode, but I wanted to take the opportunity to speak because it's my birthday and I can, you know what I'm saying? So just some of the accomplishments that I can remember. I've had songs placed in 4 different films, you know, indie films. One most recently, it hasn't come out yet, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but Masterpiece, the most requested song by a local or national artist in WERS history. Wrote, co-directed, produced, starred in, and executive produced my first short film called Cry For Me, centered around domestic violence and sexual abuse. And I never remember the number correctly, and I'm going to figure this out soon so I can have it and like put it in writing so I can remember. But to what I remember, and maybe more, 29 awards it's won, and it's been in 38 film festivals. I've acted in more than 10 films, indie and major, indie and commercial. I've done 8 commercials, 6 regional, 2 national commercials. I wrote the theme song, the intro and the outro for the Native Land podcast. Shout out to Angela and Tiffany and Andrew, you know, just genuine fans of that show and of them and what they're doing, and reached out and said, hey, I have an idea, you know what I'm saying? And they reached out and said, let me hear it. So that's a massive accomplishment for me, to be a part of something I'm genuinely a fan of, you know what I'm saying? It's so dope, and it's just dope, you know what I'm saying? It's a really good feeling. I don't go out of my way to like, I don't walk around with like Native Land podcast merch, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just really dope. Like, that is something more than anything else I've ever done. That is something where I actually take moments to like celebrate that, you know what I'm saying? And even with the terms of it, of like, not them, but like the business is the business. and just working that out. Shout out to Sean Fontes. Shout out to Samara, attorney Samara, for your help and for your guidance also, you know, to make that happen. But, you know, super happy about that.
Welcome home to the native, landing on a podcast space destined for greatness. 60 minutes or so hit, not too long for the grave shit. High level convo, politics in a way that you can taste it, then digest it. Politics touches you even if you don't touch it, so get invested. Cross the T's and dot the I's, gill them back to get them, stand on business with ride. You could have been anywhere, but you chose us. Native Land Podcast, the brand that you can trust. Yes.
Nobody knows.
I don't know if this is a fact. In my head, it is. If it's not, you can fact check me. But I believe I was one of the first independent artists to put out a CD and a DVD and sell it. I did it. I feel like I did it after All Eyes on Me. That's why I really got the idea of like the double disc. And I really wanted to just have a visual. And I remember, so I didn't see any other artists, but because I didn't see them doesn't mean that they exist. So even with me making that statement, please, I'm making a statement because I didn't see it. I didn't see anyone else, any of my peers doing it or had done it. So, and I featured, you know, other artists and other peers who I rocked with. Some I didn't really rock with, but I knew that they were, moving and shaking, and so they were featured also. You know what I'm saying? Not too long ago, I was awarded a white ribbon award for my advocacy and work with domestic violence and sexual abuse as a man, and that means the world to me. I so appreciate that. Also, I got Mentor of the Year with Build Boston for the work that I do with young people. Definitely involved with Freedom House and the things that they're doing, and just tapped in and being available to speak to the young people in the facility and outside the facility. I don't know. No, I don't remember everything, but I think I wanted to, on my birthday, just kind of reflect, and even starting this show, you know what I'm saying? And it was a group effort, a team effort for sure, you know what I'm saying? But starting this podcast and really working it and the technical stuff, and not even fully delving into everything that can be delved into, but maintaining it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of this show. I'm proud of the conversations that we've had. I'm proud of the impact that it's had. I'm proud of when we see people and they're like, yo, this, that, and the third. I'm proud to be able to introduce different ideas or different experts or different perspectives. You know, I'm proud of that. So, you know, Wedlocked and Loaded is another, you know, feather in the cap. So as I'm ending, you know what, actually, well, I'll just end it and then people can kind of tune off or whatever they want. I'm going to play Cry For Me. I'm going to play the music video, not the film. I'll play Cry For Me. I'll play the music video. And then also the Outside. I'll play Outside. That was the first experience that I had making art. Shout out to Jeff Palmer. That was the first experience of having an idea, making art. Jeff taking this art that he directed and submitting it to film festivals and it winning a ton of awards. And like, that was the first experience of that, which then inspired me to do that with Cry For Me, right? That was the first time I ever did that. Actually, not Cry For Me. I did it with Soul Intact, which was the music video. And then I did it for Cry For Me. So I wanted to just stand corrected. But I'll play a couple of videos after. just so people can see, because I want to share it, and I'm proud of all of it. You know, I'm not ashamed of it. Super proud of it. Still play them to this day. I also just want to run down some of the other Virgos, you know what I'm saying, throughout history. Famous, infamous, all the things. First off, I want to send a happy birthday to my Virgo brother twin, you know, same birthday. DJ, it's Jeff 2 times, but legendary DJ. But his name is Jeff 2 times. Also want to shout out my sis, Shakira Robinson, founder of Shakira's Story. We both have the same birthday, September 6th. So I definitely want to shout them out at the top of the ticket. My son's also a Virgo, but he's August, you know what I'm saying? So that's a different kind of Virgo for those who understand the Virgo signs and dates and all that. But I'm just run through like some of the people. So just to see, because I think people, there's a stigma with Virgos of like, oh, Virgo's crazy, blah, blah, blah. But like, in my opinion, I feel like Virgos are creative. They're thinkers on a different kind of level. And I think that they can be very, very helpful. I think it's easy to dismiss someone who is a Virgo in their thoughts and the way they process and the way that they move because of your own whatever it is, right? I certainly don't feel superior to others because I'm a Virgo. However, I know that there's certain things that I come with as my person that, as far as systems and processes, that's my thing. So I know that I bring that, right? And I'm all for adding to the team. I'm all for having some sort of process. And if we don't have a process and it's just free balling, that's fine also. But just, I guess it depends. Like, I'm not a hobo. Like, I'm not just sticking my thumb out and hitchhiking across the country. Like, I need to have something, right? So anyway, so some of the other famous Virgos: Beyonce, Michael Jackson, rest in peace; Kobe Bryant, rest in peace; Joe Budden, Nas, Nori, Ava DuVernay, Otis Redding, rest in peace; Freddie Mercury, rest in peace; Amy Winehouse, rest in peace; Avicii, rest in peace; Barry White, rest in peace; Idris Elba, Chris Tucker, Whitey Bulger was also a Virgo, September 3rd. That's interesting. Jada Pinkett Smith, Dave Chappelle, and Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, was a Virgo also. And what I'm not so proud of and appreciative of is, well, it's not my right. So what difference does it make? But Governor Ron DeSantis is a Virgo also, so can't win them all. But anyway, so with that being said, just wanted to check in with everyone. Be kind, be intentional, be the change that you want to see, and see y'all next week. We're locked and loaded. Yeah.
Start this fire, fuel my desire. I ain't lying when I say the one I need. Yeah, nobody's near you. Clear up in a review. Baby, let me hear you crying out for me. Crying out for me.
High school first dates, you ran track, but in the end I came in first place. Never a day apart, now it's worst case. Ships passing the night, not even first base. Can't touch it, you wanna talk, I change the subject. Not in a warm and fuzzy, no longer hands are public. Competition's on who could stay longer quiet. No more home cooking, strictly top ramen diet. When we're together, I feel at my highest. But now you're coming home late, seems a bit defiant. We now sleep with our backs kissing. We added eyes and minus and too many weeds, which to me equals to division. Listen.
Fire, fuel my desire. say the one I need. Yeah, nobody's near you. Clear up in a review. Baby, let me hear you crying out for me. Crying out for me.
Phone more frequent, texting back and forth, privacy mode secret. You know what they say about the closest? Yeah, deepest. Fear losing you and humility's increasing. Can't control it, something that I've grown with. Women constantly like to control shit. My pride was jail, but you paroled it. When we're together, I feel whole shit. Relationships ain't easy, really starting to take us toll shit. If I can't have you, know the rest of it. My heart hurts, leaving me in a deficit. Pain so bad when I breathe, feeling my chest and shit. Marriage is eulogized, I can see the death in it. Most definite.
You're my desire. I ain't lying when I say the one I need. Yeah, nobody's near you. Clear up in a review. Baby, let me hear you crying out for me. Crying out for me.
Why y'all scared to come outside? Cause them killers got guns outside, but everyone's outside. Once you allowed to go outside, sink or swim, it might hurt your pride.
It's only going up from here. Yeah, I'm about my business. That's the way of life. Give feelings, I ain't playing nice. These killers got guns outside, but the realest make runs outside. So let me run outside. This is militant rap, the realness they lack. But what feeling is that? The realness is back. We built this city, you want the recipe? Blood, tears, and sweat equity. What they ain't told you, I ain't from the old school. Back then, where them hand-in-hand plays is how they mold you. No discrimination here, still hit a dot. But the way that it knocks, you know it's hip-hop.
Outside of the corner, School Street and Harvard, I witnessed kids turn to killers, eventually turn to martyrs. A squad of unruly residents getting it for the set, would do anything for that check. That money, power, respect was the motive behind the motion. Was desperate in these times, bullets flying and breezing, another season of crime. My mind was kinda different, my vibe had kinda shifted. I hustled instrumentals on the block, plus I could spit it. My time is limited, so while I'm lasting, live out my passion. Keep it Dorchester fresh for y'all, just like the realest fashion. Word. I got bars like Dirty Hat, all of them cars back in the 90s, making moves with Pink House, that's where you find me outside.
Why y'all scared to come outside? Cause them killers got guns outside, but everyone's outside. Once you allowed to go outside, sink or swim, it might hurt your pride.
It's the block that I bust for. Outdoor drugstore, 16 Middleton. State want a tax for the high, so they legalize. Duck when the metal fly. You bums should be advised. My guns is legalized too, and I be fully armed when D&I slide through. Nigga slime too. Let me catch you. Get slipping when you outside. It's lunchtime. I'm tripping when I be outside. Just when you thought it was safe, we made the corner hot. I circle back after the warning shot like this my block. You knew, not in my league. I blow trees with niggas and throw threes in the land where them guns don't jam. We go to war in the winter and summer slam on Uncle and Son of Sam. Don't provoke, don't poke, and don't joke with a wanted man, nigga. I slow it down so you could understand that when tech break bad, it was all part of the plan.
United we stand, divided we fall. The revolution is here, and we will not televise it at all. We mob deep, shook ones can never quiet the storm. It isn't Trump, it's the billionaires advising him, y'all. He's just a muppet, a figurehead, doing as instructed, distracting surrounding us with bullshit and screwing with the public. So everything that's happening can stay under the radar. It's deeper than you think, for real. Don't let them play y'all. Jones.
Why y'all scared to come outside? Cause them killers got guns outside, but everyone's outside. Once you allowed to go outside, sink or swim, it might hurt your pride.
I'm the first to let you know that it ain't fun outside, so don't come outside unless you gon' get some funds outside. Lil' Nick, toting pistols, keeping guns outside, with them drums outside. There ain't no more shooting ones outside. And the DA playing life like this shit is a game, and had some numbers on your shirt, that shit replacing your name. Boy, this shit is insane, and this little thing get lame. For you be locked up in the cage, and ain't no healing the pain. Look, now you can't come outside. Window pane, I know the feel, there ain't no love outside. Should've stayed up on the porch like why come outside? Now you try and take a deal so you could come outside. Now you done outside.
Everywhere we go,
everywhere we go,
the people wanna know,
the people wanna know
who we are,
who we are.
So we tell them,
so we tell them,
10,000 fearless,
10,000 fearless.
I'm not for wasting opportunities, trying to shed light for the betterment of my community. I'm speaking truthfully, trying to break the cyclic tendencies. No social media rage, it's just you and me. Outside energy, non-buffoonery. Spook who sat by the door on records, it's nothing new to me. I'm keeping the same energy, non-foxholing, but I'm still controlling my imagery, leading with love, even towards those who envy me. Create obstacles and they label me as an enemy. Legacy build, Kennedy, strategize like the Genevieve. Good, better, and best models, incorporating entities. Created 10 principles, now it's time to delegate. Shout out to the kings of Elliott, I'm trying to steer them straight. Outside, 8 awards, 13 festivals, with more to do before victory lap, and I celebrate.
Wedlocked and loaded. Wedlocked and loaded.